All right, so when you talk about these games, we got to lead off with the Eagles game. And there's a lot of people in the chat that are waiting for me to talk about the Eagles game. I appreciate you, Eagles fans. Hang out for the show, even when we're not talking about the Eagles, I hope. There was a video that went out last night of me reacting to pretty much everything that happened in this game, okay? And it went, like, relatively viral by my standards. And anything where I'm reacting to the Eagles generally does. And I get a lot of, hey, Chris, you only spent 2 years here. You've embraced it like, this is your team, the whole thing. And, yeah, obviously, like, it's a very special 2 years for me, and I love that organization. And part of my heart's always in it. But my wallet is usually in it, too. And so I just wanted to make that clear. Like, I am pulling for the Eagles. Like,
I'm rooting for everybody, is what you're saying.
But when he hit that ball, that Alabama kind of throw from this weekend to Zacchaeus, our Virginia brother, that was the over. And, it also put the Eagles ahead, so we're happy. And then in overtime, this is wild. I had, a long odds 6-leg parlay. Hurts.
You had tackles.
I had tackles.
You were texting me. I need 3 tackles.
There were two props that I had to hit left when we get into overtime. This is dead if they don't go to overtime.
The best feeling ever.
Extra free football.
Free football, not for Caesars though. Free football for me. Okay, so anyways, I've been hitting these John Gannon shots, verticals, parlays, and it came down to the last tackle on that drive where Josh runs out of bounds and Slay puts a hand on him, so we get our tackle. And I'm like, okay, all I need is one DeAndre Swift carry. And it took all game for them to get him the ball. And I'm like, surely they're going to give him the ball. That drive went 8 plays before they gave him the fucking ball. And it was the second to last play of that game that he got the ball. So I walked away with a bunch of money in my pocket. I appreciate the Eagles. I want fans to know, yeah, but you're giving me too much credit. Like it's my wallet too. So I thought this was gutsy. When you talk about the Eagles, and I mentioned in America's teams, how many times are the Cowboys coming back from these kind of deficits? How many times have other teams that we talk about seen themselves in these situations? Mahomes in Kansas City, they've been in these situations. They were in one yesterday, but this is an upstart Bills team, and Josh is a bad matchup. I tweeted this in the first half for this defensive line, because if your back end is your weakness and you've got a good defensive line, he can negate that. And you saw that throughout the game. The Eagles lead the league in basically 3rd and long conversions. That's been a problem for them, especially down the red zone. And they talked about that last night. The pass rush wasn't always getting there, and when it did, it was Josh just being Josh. And he kept them ahead and in this game down the stretch. So talking about it from the Eagles standpoint, I did not like the first half play calls. And I think it's a little bit unfair to talk about this as like a big problem, because Lane Johnson's a scratch as of Sunday morning. And I know he's dinged. He's going to try to get back, hopefully, for these next 2 games. But yesterday, he wasn't up to it. And, their win percentage goes down from 646 to 371 without Lane in the lineup. The only
Think
other game,
San Francisco without Trent.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And, like people think about Lane as a pass protector. I think they're apprehensive to run the ball early in the game with Lane out. But what you get is you come out, you throw the ball 3 straight times. The very first play is pressure on Lane's side. You get pressure 3 times. So, I understand. In the Jets game, same thing. A lot of first down passes in that Jets game. Usually they're like 50-50, and Lane came out 9 plays into that game. So that's the sample size you're looking at. And they did. They tried to throw the ball early. Now, on that touchdown drive, 5 first down plays, 5 first down runs, including a Jalen scramble. So they came out and ran the ball on that touchdown drive, but they weren't getting Swift the ball. The RPO stuff was kind of drying up. I thought the Bills were ready for all their automatic stuff. QB run game, read plays, RPOs. They gave him like a
middle of that defense played well.
They did. And Ed Oliver's a heck of a player. Yeah. I really like Ed Oliver.
He's a tough dude.
Their edge guys were getting after it.
Great pickup getting Linville.
Linville was a big pickup, making his presence felt. But like you saw early, there was an RPO, and Jalen just kind of held the ball. He's got multiple options, but they gave him a man look. And they played a lot of zones. So, there was a 3rd down, like 3rd and 6, where he's got 85 at the sticks, and he just doesn't go to him. So, at times, I thought Jalen was a little bit apprehensive in the first half. And I think it's the thinking about he doesn't have to think about the rush when Lane's out. But all of a sudden, he sees color over here, and he's like, okay, that's Driscoll. It's a little bit different. I got to reset. Maybe I can't throw this ball. But I thought when they came out, and by the way, Jalen, not a good first down passer. If you look at his passer rating on first down, in general, when you look at his team, they want to live setting up the pass with the run. Sometimes they've set the pass up with the run. I thought last year they did that a lot. But set the pass up with the run, and that's what they did in the second half. I think they came out and just said, fuck it, we're going to run the ball to the left. We're going to run away from this void. If you look at that first touchdown drive, it was Kelsey pulling twice. It's 3 runs to the left. And then they get down in the red zone, and they get another man look against RPO. And what they did here is they ran the tight end across the formation. Because that run game's going, you suck everybody up. You've got the tight end, sets up a touchdown. Same thing on a Devontae Smith drive on that touchdown where the RPO leads the play.
God, he's been big for them.
And so I just think the Eagles, this is them. 3 straight touchdown drives, down 17-7, down 24-14, and then the drive to take the lead. Like, the pressure was on the entire second half, and they just kept riding those running backs, making the adjustments. I think they did a great job of making those adjustments. I don't know what took them so long sometimes, but that Bama play that I keep calling a Bama play because it looked just like it, that felt like last year, where it's just like, hey, we take big chances. I'm going to go up top, and he hits Zacchaeus in the corner of the end zone. So I think it was like
the Eagles are one of the only teams right now in the league that have a real identity.
Yes.
Like, that's their identity, is that, like, hey, it doesn't matter what happens in this game. We can be down 14, we could be down 10. Like, we're not out of this game, and we're gonna play accordingly. We're gonna stick to the run. And, like, I seen a stat, they're 7 for 7 in the red zone in the past 2 weeks. So, like, that's everyone's biggest problem. When you get the ball down to
It's the hardest place to score.
It's the hardest place to score. But for them, as bad as if you watch the game and you look at the stats, when it's time to score, they're getting the ball in.
Situational football, man. That's what they're doing well. And you know, whether it's the 2-minute drive at the end of the game, hey, turnovers, got to clean them up.
Yep.
You know, that was a Jets replay on that tipped pass on a short game thing with Jalen, where it's just like, hey, burn the ball. Don't even try it. They were ready for that stuff. And, you know, obviously the exchange as well. So eliminate that stuff for sure. But I think, like, when it comes down to nut cutting time, this is as good a team as there is in the NFL because they play together and because they've already died, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, when you go to the Super Bowl and you lose, the way it's been described to me,
You're just Jon Snow.
you've already died, dude.
Yeah.
You have nothing to lose anymore. And for them to lose that Super Bowl, feel like maybe they were the better team, to have that turnover, to have that penalty, to come back and be 9-1, I don't think people realize how hard that is. I think it's a great credit to Sirianni, the leadership on the team. They're just unflappable. And the defense, I talked about the conversions. Josh was a bad matchup, okay? But decide. My one thing is you heat Josh up on second down in the red zone, you get to him, they're running like a read play, and they can't even get it off. Okay, third down, what are you going to do? He heats him up again. And we've seen this time and time again this year where DCs get greedy on consecutive downs, whether it's Wilkes or whether it's McDermott against the Broncos. Coming with the blitz again. You know, somebody said, hey, guys just got to make that tackle on a Josh Allen scramble. The fuck he doesn't, man. There's some things you don't put guys in positions like that because that's a lot of green grass with the best guy at beating the blitz with his legs in the NFL and a one-on-one tackle. And that's Josh's magic. And so
And sometimes you can only horse collar him to get him down because he's a horse.
Now, I'll acknowledge this, Kyle. You know, Bills fans here and Eagles fans, they'll get real testy about this, but we got some calls.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, listen, the Bills also had a ton of penalties. So, you know, like, and the turnover that you couldn't have, you had it. The Slay stuff on, like, the 5th possession, he was getting away with it. The horse collar, I get that. And that led to, and the Bills have lost a lot of games like this, losing on special teams because it backs them up. They get the field goal blocked by Jalen Carter, Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Amazing.
Thank you, cash that ticket. And then on the other side of things, they miss a field goal out of the half. So whether it's the punt return for a touchdown, the first game of the year against the Jets, or whether it's the Denver miscues with the 12 men and the whole thing and the returns, they have lost games on special teams. But I want to go back to this pick because I don't think this is Josh's worst pick. And we were sitting here. I said, we're going to get a touchdown, Matt. I told you. So we're going to get a touchdown, and then we're going to get a backed up pick.
You did call it.
It said Josh is going to fuck this up. But I think it was more the Eagles being heads up. the Eagles getting that look with Diggs at number 2, going to a palms check, communicating that one's going vertical on the sly and saying, hey, I'm going to jump this out route. And they were ready for that situation. They made the check, and it's just more the Eagles being on the ball in big situations and taking that football off Josh was huge. So
that's heady preparedness and confidence. I mean, I played with a few guys in the secondary that were truly confident, and they would look at you before the game and say, I'm going to get one of these today.
Yep.
And I would say, how do you know that? I'm like, wait, scratch that. You just stare at your fucking iPad all week. That's what you do.
You do.
These
You're
guys
ready.
know tendencies, and the ones that truly prepare, they make plays on the ball, and you see guys that stand out. They're outliers, like Deron Bland, guys of that nature, where they're making plays every week. And it's just, obviously there's an outlier there. I think it's the preparation and the confidence.
And the last thing is, like the Bills, I mean, obviously you can get a couple calls. You had a bunch of penalties, but you have a chance to win that game. I thought as soon as the ball left Josh's hands, I think it was 3rd down in overtime, I thought this game was over because it's just a matter of Gabe Davis turning the right way. So, again, it comes down to like the narratives, the things we're going to talk about, the Bills getting in the playoffs or not, which is not a foregone conclusion at all. If these little things don't get done, it's a totally different conversation we're having. That game should be over in that situation. And because you didn't handle a little thing, you end up giving the ball back to the Eagles. And DeAndre Swift getting that 14th carry was huge. What a cutback by him. I mean, that guy has made the most of this year because I've always thought he was a good player. But to play behind this line is truly like a make-a-wish type thing, dude. Like, I mean, just to get 1 year behind the Eagles line can turn your career in a way that you couldn't have imagined. And this guy made a great cut to credit him to set them up for that touchdown.
One advantage they have that seems to be consistent throughout the season, everybody's talked about their conversion rate on 4th and short. Like, that's obvious. But how about having the best field goal kicker in the league? Like, without him yesterday, they lose that game.
Bro, we haven't even talked about it.
Is he getting tested today?
No, I don't know. He might get tested.
Running backs, linebackers, they get tested.
He looks like one of Santa's elves. So
Yeah,
I don't
well.
know, like, if he's just got some, like, he was hit by lightning or something, but he's got a powerful leg. And to kick that ball, that soggy ball in the rain. Now, I don't know what the metrics or, some of the analytics are on kicking in the rain, but a 61-yarder. Now, I've seen him hit that kick. Early in my career, I think it was maybe my first year there in 2017, we played the Giants in the heat, and we had to beat them on a 61-yard kick from Jake Elliott. And we could not believe that Doug trotted him out there to try to win that game, and he nailed it. And I just couldn't get it out of my head. I was on FaceTime with Waylon. He was ahead. So, I could tell he was ahead 3 seconds. And I was like, turn the phone around. And that 2-3 seconds of him, couldn't find the fucking TV, nothing. I was just like, please, Jake. But to have that weapon, unbelievable. Jake Elliott deserves a lot of credit.
I want to talk a little bit about
Might be one of the greatest kicks in regular season
for real
NFL history.
We played a game, you and me, off air, where we were like overrated, underrated. I think I did like Julian Edelman, the catch in the playoffs, overrated, underrated.
This is going to be
and
underrated.
Chris was like properly rated, like it was a good catch, and Odell. And then
We're
I'm
gonna do
like,
this later
Jake
this
Elliott,
week.
field goal, underrated, in my opinion.
It's going to be underrated.
And it received a massive amount of attention on social media. Everybody paid attention to it. Such a big kick, but like, truly, that is such a deep shot. That's such a clutch shot. Even if it's perfect conditions, that situation, that kick is crazy.
Unbelievable. With everything on the line, because what we're talking about is home field advantage, and we are talking about teams breathing down their neck. And the San Francisco 49ers are a fucking machine right now. And like the Eagles, it's like I talk about the Eagles, it's like Jalen Hurts. I'm not going to say he's the best quarterback in the league, but when it comes to crunch time, he's the most clutch quarterback in the league. I don't know if the Eagles are the best team in the league, but they're the most clutch team in the league. And when other teams lose 10 to 15% in these big situations, they stay consistent. And so I don't know how you would define best team in the league. I think San Francisco on paper could be that.
Yeah.
And I think this is a really tough matchup. I'm not going to get into how it plays out because it's early in the week. But like coming off a game where you played 92, 93 snaps defensively in the rain, physical, late game, right? 4 p.m. All the hours matter in getting your body back. You're going to play the Niners now. You're going to host them. And this is a physical football team, so they got to get their bodies right this week.
They've stepped up in the gauntlet the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They walked into the cave, punched the fucking ogre in the mouth, and they took 5 more steps, and they wrestled the dragon to the ground.
Yeah.
Now they got to go fight whatever the next mythical beast is that the Niners are.
But they take it 1 week at a time.
But they're awesome, and
Yeah.
they are following the lead of their quarterback. They're just fucking nails,
Yeah,
man.
they are nails.
are unaffected by everything going on around them. When I was on bad teams, Dad used to text me and say, "I don't care if the sky's falling around you. You keep coming.
yeah,
You keep coming. You keep playing."
I think it was just a group text.
Jalen Hurts is like that.
Yeah,
Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts, even when Jake Elliott made the field goal, he's just on the sideline, running through mental reps. He's almost like Tiger-ish. I talked about Mahomes like Tiger Woods because he can hit the deep shot. He can do any kind, bunker shot. Well, Jalen mentally reminds me of Tiger Woods. He's just unaffected. He curves his brim. He gets into tunnel vision. And when it's time to go hit his shot, he fucking hits it. And like you said, the Bama ball, stuff like that matters.
Yeah.
He's a leader. The rest of the team knows they have that weapon, and they're confident.
I
I
like
want
that
to talk
part.
about Buffalo, though.
No, but what do you want to say about Buffalo?
I want to say this. They got Joe Brady right. Joe
Yeah.
Brady, you fucking do whatever you can to keep that guy in the building. I thought the Joe Brady, Josh Allen offense isn't letting him run, but he almost had 100 yards rushing.
No,
He's
yeah.
confident in that offense.
I think that's one thing.
The Gabe Davis option route, he's
Yeah.
putting his guys in position to win.
They
You
just
can see
Cooks
it.
got to
They
catch
had
that
the look
ball.
they wanted.
If Cooks catch that ball, you want to talk about the penalties? Catch the ball.
Yeah.
Catch the ball. Be on the right side on the option route.
But I love Josh Allen and
don't-
Joe Brady.
But
That's,
look,
I'm done.
Let me tell you about this stat, Josh Allen. How do you feel about him being 0-6 all time in overtime?
I think
I
it's
don't
a
feel.
wild
I mean, like
stat.
think of the team. Hey, listen.
It's an
Okay,
unlucky stat.
so I look at this. Okay, the last game they're in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
This game, if Gabe Davis turns the right way, there's one win.
Now
okay?
do the Kansas City
Okay,
one.
now do the Kansas City one.
What you were
like? I can't blame anybody that played offense in that game. And we could go back a few, and I could probably look at all of them, but I don't think. I'm not selling Josh. I'll buy him low if anything with a coordinator change, but they probably dug too big a hole.